printing, I think it says. And then this is a single family dwelling. And then to the rear of Mr. Vance's property is this. I don't know who owns it. It's a pretty substantial lot. How big it is. Way 2 acres.
And who owns that behind it?
And,
Oh, you see it on it. So wait, I'm gonna make sure my mark is right. So the house, Mr. Vase's house, that is I know in the city, but the painting I thought was right next to it, like to the right of the house, right?
if you're facing this house, it's to the left, but it's not immediately to the left. There's a dwelling. That's his neighbor to the left.
Oh,
And then there's so it's kind of weird. You have a house, and then you have a commercial business encroaching into the neighborhood.
right.
Then you got the tracks, which you, as you mentioned, some people don't want to live near the tracks because of whistling.
Right, because the people who already live there and grown up there, we used to it. But I'm just thinking, me being a new homeowner, would I really want to live next to a railroad track where we haven't settled the whole whistleblowing thing yet? Like, I don't know.
There's no crossing here, so it shouldn't be much
You
whistleblowing.
You don't hear it after.
That's,
I used to hear it.
I would definitely say that because I'm used to it. Been used to it for 40-some years, but
Right.
you think somebody really want to put a residential neighborhood right there?
That's what we thought about the fault.
I tell y'all, I've seen, what about those electrical towers with all that electricity? I think a brand new subdivision down here, better with, I mean, I would think that. I heard something about those areas, I don't know. But with all the electricity and you got a brand new subdivision right there, right beside it, you go to the front door, you stuff what you see. So people looking for places to live, I don't know.
This will be a public hearing. We can add a public, so I was planning that for every council meeting. So you could do it either the first meeting in April or October. And it would be a public hearing.
I think what's weird is that the painting shop is within the city limits, and then you have his house, which is contiguous. So I know that's like one of the things that make it.
In the residential house.
Yeah, it's a kind of mixed bag.
Commercial
No.
residential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How in the world did that happen? I mean, I know no one probably knows, but that's so weird. That's really weird. Yeah.
I haven't seen any trucks coming in and out of that painting company.
No.
But if you have two side by side with their commercial, you may have a different outcome. I don't know. But definitely I haven't seen anything like that. Maybe because I just haven't seen it before.
But normally when you have commercial encroachment, it's all solidly residential. And then here comes the commercial. And you do one, it's a leapfrog. This is weird because it's a dwelling, and then another dwelling, and then commercial, and then a bunch of dwellings up Conyers. So if someone came in here, if he retained an attorney, he could argue that it's already has commercial, quite a lot of commercial. When you go outside the city and into DeKalb County, it's still part of the context that court would be considered. And that's a very heavy industrial use. I could see that driving.
All right. Any other discussion on 7526 Conyers Street? All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnston.
You're welcome.
All right. We have City Administrator Chief. You ready? 592 Lounge proposal.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
You have the proposal in your packets for 592 Lounge, Mr. Calvin Chan. I know he's been in front of you guys before. That was just to kind of give him the ability, the approval to go in there and look at the building and actually
Hey, I didn't know you
See
came
what-
in.
see what it would take. The proposal's in front of you. I can let Mr. Chan speak on it. There is, some terms in there. Once again, this is just a discussion. There's no vote right now. It's a discussion. If you have questions, if you want us to find anything out, we can do that. While he's here, he can answer anything.
I was surprised to see that you want to do kind of like a 24/7 type experience where you have morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner. That's a first for literally Main Street because that's been a big discussion. Like there is dead on Main Street. I mean, I know you're not gonna be on Main, but it's still kind of like bleak.
Yes.
So right now you're at Stonecrest, but you operate in night hours, right? Oh, daytime too? Oh, okay. So you're kind of already operating in that fashion. Oh, okay. Y'all gonna be kind of busy. Yeah.
It takes a lot, but
Mhm. And Caribbean food is what I saw. You gonna do that for breakfast?
we're gonna do a mix, most international and Korean.
Oh, okay. So it would totally replace where you're currently at. Like you would shift it. Like that would close down and
No,
you.
we'll still be there.
Oh, it'd be like a second one. Okay,
But this one is gonna be more of like upscale.
gotcha.
Fine.
And you would want to use, is it both floors or just the top floor? Both floors, okay. Mm-hmm.
We need it.
We do.
That building is just sitting there collecting dust. My opinion.
What's your thoughts?
Oh, I was trying to get to the, what's the, the chief had mentioned before, the ask. Besides the bill, what else should I ask you?
He's talking about, so in the packet, I believe it's 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's not in the
Is that?
the financial proposal.
Yeah, I saw it. You said
Yeah,
that.
I've seen it before.
Okay, yes, I think you
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, I can't remember what.
Yeah.
You did, it's just not your.
That explains.
Yeah, I believe if I remember correctly, 4 years of basically free rent. He would pay a first, last, and a security deposit. And then that fourth year, of course, or that going in that fifth year, the rent would start. Like I said, that all can be worked out, negotiated, talked about. Of course, we'll do that in an executive session. The other thing that he was asking about was the piece of property. I know we've talked about this before, directly next door. I think it's something that the mayor mentioned that we'd have to work on because that is the Lithonia Housing Authority. Also, he expressed interest in, we're working on the parking lot, renting out, I think, part of the parking lot for valet parking. So there's a give and take there.
There's the property down the street. That we talked about now.
But from my perspective on it, it is a building that's been sitting there for way before I came here. A building that I know we've had a lot of interest in. I will reiterate, no one's ever bought us a packet like that. No one's ever brought a serious letter of intent and proposal. I think there was he option to buy in year 10, if possible. That's down the road if something doesn't work out. I've said it to him. He's upfitting the building. We've got a building that's upfitted. So
I'm curious as to why year 10.
We'll figure it year 10 at least, by then everybody should be military and everything should be
Established.
established by then. And after you have to start recovering like all the money that invest into the
Tenant improvements. I'm curious about that part because it's like, based on the contract, which I'm sure our attorneys will have to get involved in, but that could be a little interesting because, like, you could say, okay, I want to just leave here, but I'm taking all the improvements that have been, I know, but that's not your intent, but like, that's a major concern, So, but I mean, it sounds good. I love the proposal. I love the idea. We need some life born in our city. And this would be good for all ages, it sounds like, so, yeah, sounds good to me.
I like the fact that it creates jobs,
Yeah.
they're like they want
Mhm.
to are working on this youth program, so we have youth, that could learn culinary skills. We
Mhm.
could just evolve. I could just see that evolving in all kind of avenues. That would be good for us.
I saw it firsthand. So I visited your spot last week. Was it after a meeting, I believe? I was
Yeah, it
here and then I
was
said, I'm
actually
about to go to
Thursday. I
592.
think it was Thursday.
Yeah, that was my first time. And I noticed you have young people there, look like they may be in college or school. Yeah. So I noticed that and I appreciate that because you provided, a chance for them to work. And they was very respectful. They didn't know who I was. I just went in there and asked for some rasta pasta with chicken and shrimp. And it was very, very good. So yes, very yes. So I appreciate that. Yeah. 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 So hopefully, I'm excited about it. Of course, I don't have a vote in it, but I figured they would like it. Because that's what we've been wanting and waiting for a long time. And we tried to, go other routes to get some grants money for it, but nobody was like, no, the cab wouldn't help us, no. So we just been sitting on it. So I appreciate your efforts.
I think
And good luck to you too.
one question I have is timeline.
I was just gonna ask that.
Right, as soon as you guys give me the okay, I'm ready
Yeah.
to the contractors and if I need it, so
Okay. Yeah. So next piece is attorney, right?
Yep. Attorney,
Okay.
send a letter of intent to the attorney, let them look at it, get with you guys, but we have a executive session about real estate tonight, so we can bring that up to talk about those terms.
Mm.
And then if there's anything different you want to talk about, then I'll get with him and we can work that out.
Okay. Right. Right. Say that again, Miss Ashley.
But in the meantime, I work that in the first meeting and able to, vote to approve.
Got you. Okay. All right, Councilwoman Howard. I wanted to find out from everybody, do we have a consensus to proceed with the attorney on this 592 lounge proposal?
Yes, I was gonna say, I would love to see the number.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So looks like you have our blessing. So,
So I'll get with you probably tomorrow.
all right. Thank you. Thank
Just
you.
gotta hurry up.
We hungry.
She said Rasta pasta. She was specific with
Rasta
it.
pasta.
That sounds good.
Yes.
Really?
It's good.
I'm gonna have to try it
That was
out.
good.
All right, Amelia, that's what we're gonna do.
Okay, let's do it. Rasta pasta.
Okay. All right. So, I messed up my little paper. What's next? Okay.
City Hall renovation.
City Hall renovations. All right, Chief, we ready.
Okay, this one I know we talked about before, and it has to do with what's right here in front of you. So this is just a discussion. There's 2 quotes in there. We did call. Yes, I did. In there.
I got 2 pieces, 2 proposals in mine. I think.
This is expensive.
I just had it.
So we called several people to come out. Only really 2 people showed up. Once again, this is we're not voting on this. It's just discussion because I want to explain to you what all that went into those quotes. So the idea was to take this wall right here, close it off, and put a swing door over there. That way, we kind of have this one way, more of a safety aspect.
For like the courts.
Courts and you guys, yeah.
Oh.
The other part of that was to replace all of this with real wood, not laminate.
Does it have to be wood? I'm just curious.
It can be granite, but then you run into a whole different cost. Because the one guy did mention granite, but you can only do it in like 1 or 2 pieces. So it would be to match what we have, try to match what we already have back there, because that wood is actually good. That's actually wood. So the bones are good. Everybody looked at that. They have real good stability underneath there. The other portion of that quote is behind these TVs and in these walls, there's no wood. That's why these TVs keep falling. So portion of that quote is to actually put wood studs into the wall so we can actually have the TVs mounted correctly. One, we need to replace the TVs, but there's no point in trying to do that right now if there's not going to hold them really. Because if we take these off, there's a chance we might not be able to get them back up. That one's already fell a bunch.
That's with the speakers too. The old
Yeah.
lighting system.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think
how do
when we
you
were going to
attach
look
it
at putting
to-
speakers, we couldn't put the speakers because there's no studs or nothing. But that's why we got these can speakers. So that's a part of that too, is filling those walls. The other portion is redoing the carpet in the whole building, because I know upstairs we have rips and tears. Down here we have stains over there, plus the carpet's pretty cold. And then another portion of the quote is to fix some of these LED lights, these ballasts, because I know in my office the light doesn't turn on unless you flick it a few times. I think yours does the same thing. Yours, huh? Yeah. They would need they would need to be replaced with LEDs. We already did the bathroom up there because the light would never come on. So we had to do the bathroom. And in the quotes, I will just tell you one. The Rubio and Sons, we got in contact with them. That's all they do is municipal work. City of Atlanta, College Park, South Fulton. They rebuild courtrooms. They do finishing work on walls. That's all they do. The other one is just a group that does basic handyman construction work.
We can say for this slot.
SPLOS. This will be a SPLOS from our SPLOS one that
Right.
that basically will be running out of. Yeah, so this would come out of SPLOS one. Yes.
So what do you think if we do away with coffee?
Yeah.
I don't know if those wood flooring type things are strong enough. I'm just thinking we can get something.
Yeah, I mean that's why whatever if you guys have recommendations, take them now because I can call them back. But
I agree with hardwood floors.
Or
So-
LVT, luxury vinyl.
Mhm.
That's just as nice. And it's water absorbent. Got it in my home.
So in those that where you're sitting at right now will actually come up about 2 inches to be 88 climb. So, and then of course we'll have new chairs.
If you go back to Rubio and get a new quote for different floors.
Yeah. The flooring might not change that much because Rubio, they're big into flooring. The other guy, he subs that out. So his might change a lot. I know Rubio was kind of like, they gave me a quote saying, look, it's pretty much the base price what we do for everybody. But I'll call them and get a new quote. But it'll be put on the next agenda for the next meeting for both. But if you have any, suggestions or anything you want to see,
I personally would love a third quote, and I know it might be a little challenging, but just to give us another perspective. And as far as like suggestions, just for whomever, definitely I agree with unrated LVT or what other kind of flooring options, and paint. Like we can spruce it up with some nice, gray tone paint because that's in, and I think that's in for a while. So that would be nice. And I don't know what else, but even if we could change the shape of this right here,
so I did talk to them about that.
Okay.
It's, that would be a huge undertaking.
Oh.
Mhm.
I would like to suggest maybe the laminate or the laminate of towels, ceramic towels, like those, and it's not as costly, and we don't have the upkeep that you do with carpet, and like you said, with allergies and dust and the smell. So laminate or just the wood light. It's not hard wood, but it looks like wood, like you said, it's very durable. And how
Yeah, we'll get a bunch of, get them to give
It's
us new
cheap
quotes.
and
Yeah.
it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it when I had it, but if they make it differently now, let us know.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll get them to do multiple different
That
quotes
laminate.
for that.
out.
That
And then
looks like
he said
wood.
once if
Yeah,
it, like
it
with
don't-
Rubio, if it's approved, they
That
bring
don't
all the
work.
samples out and y'all pick everything.
Okay.
It's coming.
The other guy, I'm not sure because he has to sub it out or whatnot.
Yeah, if you don't have traffic, it'll be different. But
To possibly the bathroom downstairs.
Mhm.
Spruce it up a little bit, maybe a different sink, maybe different flooring to kind of modernize it. It looks a little dated. So do something to the bathroom to make it not so dated.
Just put some new caulk in the back.
so do they? So since they work with municipalities, do they have like an interior decorator
Yeah. So
that they have?
so Rubio, when he came out, they have that's all the gentleman that comes out does is he goes to municipalities and they have their own everybody. They have somebody that does everything.
Gotcha. Okay.
So even he was drawing designs and he looked at it, trying to figure out could we change this. He said the bracing and the bones of this are great. There's no point in changing that. But if we want to do anything else, he can. It's no big deal. They can. The Rubio and Sons I know can do anything because they just rebuilt all of the city of Atlanta's courtrooms.
But I'm glad you said that because I have a question. I don't really need a third quote, but what I would like to see is possibly some references from the other cities.
Oh, yeah.
Other cities are saying we didn't have no problem with them, the work is great, blah, blah, blah. I would like to see
Yeah, so that I can get that because Rubio is under a thing called Gordian. That's how I got it. That's how I found them. So Gordian is they already pre-do the bid process for governments. Through all bunch of different vendors, they already set the price. But Gordian they want a 7% fee for you to use them. I just was able to get in touch with Rubio, who actually do the work for Gordian, and got them to come out separately.
Okay. Now, the only reason why I also brought up a third quote is because remember we established the what's that paperwork called?
Procurement.
Yeah, procurement. And why do we create things and establish rules? Like we have to kind of stick with our standards. We voted to get quotes, 3 quotes if it's over 5,000 or whatever amount it was. So I'm just saying a third one wouldn't hurt.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm liking the sound of Rubio. I didn't know that it would be so expensive.
Oh yeah.
But if it comes down to there not being a third person, fine. But just want to put it out
We
there.
got some time, so maybe the ones we call, we can get them out here. And just for future, that 3 quote when you use spots, I'll just do 3 quote.
Will you do splash?
I confirmed that with Alicia.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're using any of the general or general fund money, the procurement. Yes.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
So, all right. I'm not going nowhere.
I know. Lithonia High School football
Oh,
team.
wait. No.
Who is that?
That's Chris. That's the one.
That's the grant writer?
Yeah.
Hey,
That's after.
finally I
He one of
see
those
you.
sneaky guys. sitting
Yeah.
in the
Man, you
back.
so quiet.
So, do you want me to talk about it or you want to talk about it?
You can start off. You probably say everything I'm gonna say anyway.
Oh, okay. So the Lithonia High School football team, the coach reached out to the mayor in reference to having a meeting with the city. So me and the mayor met with the coach. So sports are a real big part of my everyday life, and youth sports at that. So to sit down and see what they needed. At first, they started with, hey, we're trying to figure out where we can fit in to do stuff around the city to try to raise money. Being that they don't have tackling pads, they don't have hardly anything. I think they get 1 jersey is all they get. And a lot of the times they have to give everything back, or they don't get to keep it, or they have to give it back after the game, what have you. So we were talking about doing car washes with them out here, let them use the front, do a car wash to earn money. Come to Bruce Street Day with your jerseys on, help out. Come to Alumni Day like we did with the cheerleaders. I mean, that worked out well. So those are things we mentioned. So then he started talking about, how it works in DeKalb and, getting donations and whatnot. Of course, if you get a donation, if you donate to the school, it has to go to the county. The county then takes the donation, splits it up between all the schools. But you, yes.
Crazy.
No, I don't like that.
I
Yeah,
don't like
because
that
one
either.
school can't have an advantage over another.
Oh.
So, but you can donate to the Booster Club.
Mhm.
So with that, you know, after he left, I kind of mentioned to the mayor, we have ARPA funds. Okay, our ARPA funds have to be allocated to something by the end of this year. They just have to be spent by the end of 2026. Okay. ARPA
I
from
thought
the
that was
That's
going.
that for.
no, it's not going. It's for the
No.
yeah, COVID funds. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we still have some of that left. And I mean, we have a good bit, 75,000, 90,000, somewhere around there.
Mm.
So they can be used for various things. I mean, I know Stonecrest donated.
Actually, 1.2 million. So it's gonna be all
Mhm.
Okay, but where's the money to the county first?
Mhm.
So I kind of made a comment with, well, what if we looked at maybe taking 15,000 and donate it to the Booster Club for Lithonia High School? Because the Booster Club can use the money to the football program.
Correct.
And let me go deeper in that. The old coach that was there left them with a bill of $5,000. So they're starting out negative.
Negative
The
5,000.
new coach is from the city of Stockbridge. Of course, he comes from a very big program. I mean, they won state last year, all that. But we always talk about investing in our youth, and the youth that live here go to Lithonia High School.
Mhm.
So if the city of Lithonia was interested and council was willing, we could make a pretty good sizable donation that they don't even know about right now because we didn't talk to him about it.
Yeah.
But his goal is like 50,000, I think.
Yeah, at least 50.
Yeah, and that'll just get them by. Now I know what it takes to run a football program. I've been coaching football for a long time, coaching all kinds of sports. That 50,000 is just going to get them to step on the field. That's not. I mean,
So where did 15 come from?
the 15 would come from us, from the ARPA fund,
Oh, okay.
but it would go to the Booster Club. It would help them get to that because they right now they're starting negative. They haven't had anybody try to donate. Because if you donate to the school, it goes to the county.
Mhm.
But if you donate to the Booster Club, it can go to the football program.
Question about the Boosters Club, you know, just in case, I guess you gotta talk to the attorney. So that's kind of like a private person's joint.
Yeah, we would have
Can't
to.
give it to a private individual.
Oh,
But
no.
if we buy the equipment, you know, or what they need, that's the.
Mm.
So that would be, we
How?
would have to talk to the attorney and then get with the county
Okay.
to see if the county would allow. Because of course, one of my things was like, they need those headsets. Like even I asked them, how do you coach with no headsets? I've never seen a high school football team coach with no headsets. It's almost impossible. I mean, they do it, but it would be something that we would need to, you know, talk with the attorney and the county. I mean, I'm not being mean about it, but I just don't want us as the city of Lithonia to donate to Lithonia High School and the county blocks us
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
dips into it or
Yeah.
something like that.
And they're giving it to everybody else. That's,
You know, some of the DeKalb County high schools have turf. Some of the DeKalb County schools have, with the, even the middle school, they've revamped their track, their baseball fields, all of that. Not us.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand it, and I agree with you. Like, if we are going to take care of our children in our neighborhood, we'll take care of our children in our neighborhood.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as home field advantage, but for what is it, 3 schools? I think it's 3 schools that have home field advantage in DeKalb County: Chamblee, Decatur, and no, I thought they play it.
They got home field advantage.
Where do they
I
play?
have a
They
concern.
play at Cloud.
Little break.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Little Grove is Stonecrest, I think. Yeah.
I was wondering, I know we stated to donate to the
True.
football
Lithonia is in
team,
Stonecrest, I
and,
think.
and then also to the track. I was hoping that they would spread it so that some of the girls would benefit as well from our donation.
Oh, like, cheerleading.
They're not in a deficit. I agree, but they're not in the deficit, and I know that to be true because they communicate a lot in our alumni page. The cheerleading squad is not in a big deficit. The football team is really in a deficit and struggling right now.
I wasn't talking about the cheerleading. That's what I already said. I said cheerleading, but I'm thinking maybe dribbling, track, or whatever. But if the football team, I think once the football team evolves and everything they need evolves around it because it starts bringing, people in. But yeah, just wondering if there's some cooking or classes or something that's not there already that the girls can benefit from. That's all. And guys benefit from cooking as well. That's all. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Chief?
On that, no, not right now.
Okay.
I'll get with the attorney in the county to see where we can go.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. Yes.
I thought ARPA was done, so this is surprising to hear. What else can we do with the rest of those funds?
Bags.
Okay.
For City Week,
Yes.
yes.
I mean, because you just mentioned.
Can't do it? Oh. Oh, and it's another conversation. That's right.
Can we
I'm
add
sorry.
that to executive session anyway?
But it can be decided by council.
Okay, yeah, because I would love to expand on that.
Yeah. Cities Week will be the next meeting. All right. Anything else regarding Lithonia High School football team? We good? All right. Next, police grant. We always do it this week.
That's what I said.
You want?
I tried to bring it up sooner.
Y'all want a separate meeting? Y'all want me to call a meeting for
Yeah.
6 weeks? All right.
We do it
Now when I call it
meeting.
now. All right.
All
We
right.
talking about-
So the police grant, this is also has to deal with the resource center. The state has hit us with a massive curveball, I guess you would say.
Okay.
So 3 weeks ago, a month ago, Chris was working with the state. We had a meeting with them. They said to us, well, if you're green in your Survey Monkey, submit your invoices. I think we were waiting for one thing, then it turned green, and we submitted like 3 or 4 invoices. Well, then 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks, 2 weeks ago, our third-party monitoring company, which luckily the lady who we're dealing with is a Lithonia resident, so she's trying to stay on top of it, reached out to us and said, hey, we have some changes. So now we have to get a contract with each individual person that we're working with. Not a big deal. It's just something completely different that was not expressed to us before. On top of the contract, some of the people that we're dealing with, like Flock, for example, they're the only people in the nation that do what they do. We have to do a whole different sole source agreement with them. Not a big deal. They already have that stuff printed out. Here's where it gets not shaky. It can be done, but I'm not doing that and making that decision, period, point blank, without talking to council. Now, instead of submitting the invoices, they want a cleared check from each payment to reimburse us. So we would have to float basically each item for approximately 14 days, because that's the turnaround on their wiring us the money back. Now, on the police grant side, the equipment side, not a big deal because we can just buy one thing at a time, wait a month, buy the other thing. Not a big deal. I think the most expensive thing is the radios, which is like $67,000, which either way, we're going to have to change those because the cap's going over to digital. That's not a big deal. Plus, we'll be starting 10,000 to the good pretty much because one of the things that's in the grant is a software program that we already have to use. We just added it into the grant because we upgraded the version of it. So once we get all this worked out, we already have cleared checks from the past, 6 months at $1,850 a month that we're going to submit. We're already going to get that money right off the bat, which is normally paid out of courts, but it'll be swapped over to general then we could use that money to help float the other payments. Now, I wouldn't even say it's the tricky part, which the part that council, needs to be on board with, approve, whatever, is the resource center. So we will be floating the resource center, basically salaries for every 2 weeks, just like we get paid now. So if we make the payments to them. So 14 days after we make their payment, that's when we're going to get refunded our money. Not a big deal. We can do it. We're in a better place than we've ever been. I think the most expensive thing with the resource center was the software, which was $25,000.
And I talked to them Thursday, this past Thursday, and they said that they can break that up in any way that needs to be done. It doesn't have to be lump sum, but whatever makes it work for the city, they can break it up.
So that's where we're at with that. So if you have any questions, we'll try to answer them as best we can.
How much for the salaries for the resource center?
It's, I think, 5,000. That's for the resource center.
As far as the total salaries,
That every 2 weeks,
yeah, it's about 56.
56 something.
5,600.
100. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like,
No. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though it's a grant, and I know that it's combined with the police part, we have to pay, and you say each person has a contract. So is this like, what's the name of the organization?
Repertoire.
The repertoire. So each teacher, I guess, is getting paid that from that amount.
No, not each person's getting 5,600. That's total for everybody in the resource center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we did get a contract from them. The attorneys are actually reviewing it now. I talked to her today.
Okay.
So I mean, it's a straight to the point contract saying, hey, I'm providing these services for the city of Lithonia for the city of Lithonia Resource Center. And it's not, when I say contract, I don't want us to get into, oh man, we're signing a whole new contract with somebody. This is something the state just wants to see, that we have an agreement with these people to do business with us, as well as us do business with them.
Okay.
Because it's not just them. Like, we have to get contracts for people that we're getting the software from, the same people we've been working with for 6 years. So it's just something that they're requiring from us now.
Can I include something?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think that they shed a little light on the subject, and because I had a conversation with you earlier, it seems like the difference from the other grants is that we'll pay for the service and wait for the money from the grant to be reimbursed back to us, which is sort of like the what did we call it? The prepayment grant, the one that we had to pay for the item, and then wait for reimbursement grant that we had to wait to be reimbursed. And then it's explained, well, it's not what we're getting, $50,000. I think she said was the biggest ticket item. So we'll pay for it, and hopefully you explained that the person who's doing the reimbursement will hopefully turn it around quickly, but we'll be reimbursed without a big delay. But basically, we're paying for those items from the grant to be reimbursed. And I think that kind of makes it simple for us, because that's what we understand. So that's the only reason I'm throwing it out that way. But basically, that's what type grant that is. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Go ahead.
Repertoire is up and running. We are servicing intake. So we are servicing the community right now.
What can you break it? What does it mean?
So right now they are intaking, they are taking young adults or children that are being intaked to see what the issues are, how we're going to redirect, how we're going to assist with getting that person back on track. So they are already taking.
Oh, they're in communication with schools nearby.
They have clients.
Yeah,
they
they're in
have
communication with
young
everything.
Oh.
They've been, matter of fact, when the movie set was here, one of the ladies that worked for the movie set was super excited that we had that. She wants to come back and try to get some of the kids into working like grips and side, doing manual labor or whatever they got to do for the movie sets. But they're actively doing that. Yeah. So when we had got the word to submit invoices, we submitted repertoire, we submitted flock, and then I think the computer ones. Yeah. We submitted all that. And that's when the week later they were like, hey, we need this, this, and this. So that's when Joyce had sent me the contract that she did Friday. I sent it to the attorneys, and I talked to her today. She said she didn't really see anything that needed to change in it, but we just got to get her to approve and then send it to the state. So the lady who's monitoring ours, she lives here in Lithonia, and she assured myself and Chris, she said, hey, it'll be a 14-day turnaround. That's their minimum. So she said, look, I want to see this. I need to see this. So she's like, I'm going to stay on top of it myself. Now, normally, I will tell you, when I talked to was it RSM? Yes, RSM. That's the third party monitoring company for the grant. When I talked to them before, they basically told us, hey, we really don't reach out to you guys and say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. We just let you look at SurveyMonkey and figure it out. She has actually stayed in very good communication with us and answering our emails, trying to say, hey, is this going to work? Because I've sent her numerous pay stubs saying, hey, I want to make sure this is going to work. I don't want no delays when I send you something. You say, hey, this is not going to work. I need you to say, hey, this is what's going to work.
So what you need from us is a consensus
to move forward.
to say, hey, we don't mind you float with check for 2 weeks.
How long does this go, the grant again?
3 years.
3 years. And repertoire is every summer?
It's all year.
All year.
All year.
Oh, all year. Okay.
All year. So their goal is to do 150 kids.
Throughout the year.
In 3 years.
I don't know why I thought it was like from May to August. Where did I get
No, that's a big focus they have the schools out.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no,
okay.
that's
They're gonna add.
Yeah, they're going to add
Okay,
programs
okay.
and more people will be involved because they'll have more volunteers helping out. But they're there during the school year too, because
Okay.
they're trying to get with the school. So if the school has somebody who's just kind of, falling off the wagon and acting out, then hey, try to get with the parents, work together, and get that done.
That's fine. Okay. Councilman, you okay with it?
Yes.
You're okay with it. And Councilwoman Howard, you okay with it?
Yes.
Okay.
Float the check for 2 weeks for prepayment.
All right, we're good.
Yes.
Cool.
All right, thank you. Is there a need for executive session? All right, it's real estate. All right, I need a motion to go in executive session. Yeah.
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, ayes have it.
I
Thank
need a
you.
tinkle.
All right.
What you got?
Oh, we got a tinkle.
This is now still March 18th. 2024 is now 7:45 p.m. And I wanted to report that there is no action at this time due to our real estate executive session. At this present time, I would like to get a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn tonight.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you so much. Everyone have a good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Meeting adjourned. Good night. Testing, testing.
Oh,
Testing,
I
testing.
know what I was
Got it.
gonna say.
What?
So, I think this is a good idea when I was thinking about the football team. So, Miss Renee is getting ready to do the whole brunch in the city. And I know it's gonna be successful because I went